You've got to practice the speaking part. You can't neglect it.
Exactly. No, that makes a lot of sense. It's like, I want to play football, but I don't want to kick a ball. And ever. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
And what I found very common is that a lot of students, especially students who are kind of very rational. I mean, some people like to kind of reason about everything and kind of dwell on things theoretically. And I'm sure you've come across this kind of student, you know, someone who analyzes everything from a very mental headspace. Like, no, but I want to learn the specific rule, like as if English was mathematics. And it's like, no, you need to forget all the theory and just jump in the pool and enjoy it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, especially, I would say at the beginning, when you're learning the language, I think you should get stuck in straight away with the speaking, immerse yourself, and later you can come back to the grammar and use it as a reference, and it can clear up a lot of your queries. But I wouldn't start with grammar books. I would get in there and get practicing your speaking, listening, use the language.
Do it in a natural way.
And actually, it's really enjoyable to come back later to the grammar books and then say, oh yeah, of course I know this, you know, because, and you see the reasons why, you know, then you can see the rules and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But to start with the rules is very, it's like,
you have to think in order to speak. No? It's like in your native language, you don't do it, do you? And you probably don't know how to explain, lots of grammar rules. Why did you say this and not this? Why is this correct? And this is not.
No, it makes a lot of sense. Like, and then what happens to a lot of students, I'm sure you'll agree, is that if we use the metaphor of, for example, playing tennis, right? You want to play tennis. The first thing you would do is get a racket and hit it a little bit, play a game, and then you come back and say, okay, I need to improve my drive. And then you polish little things. But what happens to a lot of students is that they enjoy playing tennis, but they don't want to improve their technique. And then they continue playing at the same level. So it's like...
Yeah.
Totally.
That's so common. All right. Perfect. Okay. Let's talk now a little bit about motivation, because I think that's... I mean, we already kind of touched on that. This is kind of one of the biggest things for a lot of students, motivation and especially consistency, because you can get really hyped about learning and you start with a lot of energy and willpower, but then, you know, you kind of, you know, it goes down, and a lot of people struggle with just sticking to a habit and having a learning routine. So for example, in your experience, what advice would you give to those people who struggle with kind of being motivated and having a habit? Or what do you do yourselves, or how do you create that kind of loop?
Yeah, I think it depends also what your goals are. If you're just learning because you want to improve on the language, but you don't really need it for real life, or if you're preparing for an exam, for example, no? So if I were to be sitting an exam, then I think it's really important to have a schedule, to plan your week, to decide what you're doing every day. Like this, on Monday, I'm going to do this listening practice, and then I'm going to read this text or write an essay. And also a tip that really works for me is do it first time in the morning. Don't leave it till the end of the day and when you are completely worn out. So just wake up an hour earlier and use that hour. Just get it ticked off the list and get it done. But of course,
that makes a lot of sense.
That really works. Yeah, because I'm usually like, oh, I need to do this, and then the months go by and the years, and I don't get to do it. But actually, you get up with your breakfast, you study English for an hour, and then that's it. And knowing what you're going to do, it will save you a lot of time. But also, if you're just learning, you're not sitting an exam, but you just want to improve, then I would say make it fun and really immerse yourself into the language. You switch everything to English as much as you can. So like a long time ago, I already started, like if I buy a book, I try to buy it in English, or if I listen to audiobooks or podcasts or anything, I just switched everything. And I try to practice my speaking every day. And actually later then you feel annoyed, like if we go to the cinema and I want to watch a movie but it's in Spanish, and it's like, oh, I wish it was in English, original version. No subtitles. It's like you really enjoy, because it's like, killing two birds with one stone.
Definitely.
Exactly.
So you enjoy the content, but you are also learning at the same time. I have a very funny anecdote. One of my best friends, she lives in Bulgaria, and she speaks Spanish perfectly. She was living here for maybe 2 years, but she speaks like 7 languages. It's incredible. Yeah, she's really interested in languages and communicating with people. So it's really funny that now she went back home and she's watching Aquí no hay quien viva. You know?
Oh, I love Aquí no hay quien viva.
So when she comes back to visit, it's like, Sophie, where did you learn that? Oh my God. And she knows all of these expressions. She really speaks like a native. And she say, I'm just watching that on Bulgarian television. They play it there. And I watch it in the original version.
I can't believe they play. That's the
way she's keeping her Spanish fresh, you know? So anything that really motivates you and that can make it fun will push you to keep doing it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because it's more natural. Like that's part of your inner motivation. Like, okay, I have to learn English. That might be an obligation, but if you kind of tap into your curiosity, like, oh, I love planes, I want to learn about planes, and at least that's natural.
Find something that find a connection with the language. Like if you like music, then learn those songs lyrics of the band that you love, or if you really love Harry Potter or whatever. Just
that was
get
my
really
case.
into it. You like Game of Thrones, don't you?
I love Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, The Lord of the Rings. I'm into that kind of thing. Like, So Harry Potter, we, with my friends, we always do like a movie marathon. So we just meet and watch all the Harry Potter movies like every Christmas. and for us, that's the best time ever. Like, oh yeah, Harry Potter marathon. I mean, we love it.
I'm coming to the next one.
And what you
I'm coming to the next one. No, we have to do Star Wars. That's the other interesting fact about Isabel. She has never seen Star Wars.
I've watched it halfway.
I'm sorry, Isabel. But
I know.
That's too much.
That's terrible. It's like for me, people that don't have plants in their house, plastic plants. Like, no, I don't trust you. Don't trust me. I never watched Star Wars.
Oh my!
I need to wake up tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. and watch it. Do it first. Keep putting it on for years.
You need to clear your schedule and do the Star Wars marathon.
I think priority right now shouldn't be Amigos Ingleses. You should be Star Wars. And you reminded me something about what you said about your friend learning watching Aquí no hay quien viva. And it's that one of my best friends, April, she's from Ireland, and she says things like "Hasta luego, Mari Carmen." Or por mira tú que bien, and she speaks with a Mercian accent. It's because she watches TV series or she learns talking to real people, and she gets these kind of native expressions, and you hear it, and it's like, wow, you're such a pro. So
the other thing I would add with motivation is you've got to just stick to it until it actually becomes a habit. A lot of people, I think, give up before it becomes a habit. It's like when you get into running, the first few times it's very hard. It's very hard to run 5 kilometers. But if you keep at it, it gets easier and easier, and it becomes a habit, and then you do it without thinking. So, and another thing I would say is if you're studying for something like an exam, and it can be very boring to study these textbooks, you can break it up with some fun activities in the breaks, so you can study for an hour and then have 15 minutes doing something that you enjoy in English, so I think always have something to look forward to, and don't just